Okay, this is another little video about reading playing cards. And I'm going to take a little break from the actual cards, a little break. I'm going to talk about this picture. This picture uh, is called Kandinsky Rides Again. My partner drew it. He's a graphic, he does graphic work, and he did this picture. And we're going to talk about this picture for intuition purposes. Now, a lot of people feel card reading is, well, the work of the devil. It's not. A lot of people think it's, read books and then you have these pat interpretations for every card. You can certainly start out that way, but at some point, for card reading to be really effective for yourself, as your own, to use it to learn about yourself, intuition is involved, and that's something that you can start out doing, or you can just get comfortable with the cards, learn their meanings, learn what they represent, and then just kind of riff from that sort of thing. But it's good to know, I think, ahead of time that you can immediately start out with intuition and work on your intuition. So while you're working with the cards, you're actually feeding your intuition. It's the creative part of your brain, I think, that we all have and we all can make use of. As we've gotten more industrialized and think we've progressed in society, the intuition has kind of been put aside as not very important. Intuition, inspiration, creativity has kind of been tossed off to the side. If you talk to great scientists, great leaders in any field, they would disagree with that. They'd say no, intuition is very much a part of how they solve problems or how they came up with solutions to all kinds of things. So today we're just going to start out with this picture, and I want you to, whoever's watching, to come up with a question that you would ask the cards. A question that starts out with, how can I? Just a simple question. How can I do something? How can I be something? How can I? So as an example, I'm going to use the question. I want to ask it a question. How can I lose weight? Now, there's no keywords here. There's nothing except this picture. And you think, well, how can I lose weight? It doesn't say anything about me losing weight. I have no idea. But this is where your individuality, your intuition can be turned on. Now, I'm just giving you my thought processes, but your processes will be different because you're coming from your own head, your own intuition, your own experience, your own past, everything. And so I'm going to say, how can I lose weight? And I look at this picture, and this picture, I have confidence, will tell me how I can lose weight, or at least give me some kind of sign on how I can lose weight. So I'm looking at the picture. I'm struck by the vivid colors, and it makes me think it's been a long time struggle. I've been riding this horse for a long time, and I've been riding it backwards. I've been riding it that way, not into the future, but into the past. And so it's a long-standing issue I've had, and I'm getting less concerned about it as I get older in some ways. But health-wise, I want to be healthier. I want to lose weight. It's always better to have a lower weight to be healthier, to live a longer life. One of the signs of most centenarians, the one thing common among all of them is that they're thin. So that tells you something. Anyways, so I'm looking at, okay, how can I lose weight? Now I'm just gonna think about things. He's on a horse. He's excited. There's something there. There's something to be found. He's looking over here. It's kind of like this thing I've been on for 70 odd years, going around in circles. So I'm thinking that this has been my path, and I've been looking at this path. I've been trying different things, and I haven't found the answer yet, and I keep going around and around in circles. And so I'm going around. How can I lose weight? How can I lose weight? Now let me see if I can see a solution. Well, there is something further back there. Something here, this red dot here. I haven't explored that. What could that be? It's something maybe in my past, before I was so concerned. There was a period in time when I was a normal weight child. And I said, maybe there is a solution when I was a child. Oh, so maybe I have to think back to when I was a child and how I ate and what I ate. Well, when I was a child, I'm thinking, recalling, I wasn't concerned about my weight. I just ate what I liked, and I remember eating a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and cocoa with toast points, and I did drink a lot of milk and I ate a lot of meat. Would I do that now? I don't know, but it wasn't an issue, and I maintained a normal weight. Another time I maintained a normal weight was when I traveled. I would live in different times in my life. I'd live in Spain because my parents were Spanish. And I always lost weight when I was in Spain. Why did I lose weight in Spain? I didn't eat very many sweets. I ate fruit, but I didn't eat sweets. And I wasn't hungry for anything. I satisfied my hunger by walking and family, and of course they have wonderful food there. And I think, yeah, I just don't want to cook like that. I had these aunts that cooked unbelievable meals, and soups and all kinds of sauces, and it's unbelievable. But I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. So I'm thinking, well, I can go to Spain and live for the next couple of years. That'd be fun, but not terribly realistic. So there were 2 times in my life that I was managing okay, and I'm trying to think what I can learn from that. What can I draw from that? So as I look at this picture again, I'm thinking, okay, I'm stuck in this circular thing, and this is where I'm focusing on my circular past and present, and maybe I should be looking over to an earlier time when I wasn't so ingrained in calorie counting or low carb or high fat, or not mixing your carbs and your fats, or none of this food and all that food and all this stuff. It's just more of I'm thinking it's got to be organic. It's got to be more of an organic approach. But focusing on the past is not where it's at. I have to focus on the future. In other words, turn this puppy around a little bit. Okay, so that's my intuition for this thing. It's like, okay, what have I come away with? Okay, I'm stuck in a rut. Well, I knew that anyways. That's not intuitive. But it made me think of my childhood and what I ate then. And I pretty much ate what I wanted, but I didn't eat a lot. I didn't have a huge repertoire of foods. Of course, I was a kid. And then I ate a lot. I ate well in Spain, but I don't want to cook like that. It's a lot of cooking involved, a lot of work, actually. But I'm getting the sense that not to cut things out, keep things in that I enjoy, that are healthy. And I certainly know what healthy food is. So maybe just concentrate on the healthy eating and not concentrate on weight so much. I mean, if you get into this weight thing, it's just calorie counting, weight, all that stuff. It's a never-ending cycle, and I think I have to break this cycle. And then what I could do on the next, if I looked at another picture, or maybe looked at this another day, so how can I break the cycle? And I could look back at this picture and say, how can I break this cycle? How can I get off this horse? So you see, I'm having a question, I'm looking at a picture, and it's generating answers intuitively. And you could just use this picture. You can use any picture and ask it a question and say, well, how can I, enjoy my job? Or how can I get rid of this anger towards my friend? Or how can I do anything? And focus on a picture, any kind of picture really, an interesting picture. You don't want something like a sunset. I mean, you can use a sunset, but I mean, it's nice to have a picture that's unusual, that's got a lot of different elements and colors in it. The other thing about it is I'm seeing, like, I've been in this thing for a long time, and here I'm going this backwards, and I'm all in this dark color. There's bright colors, but there's no light colors as far as, bright sun or anything. But that's beside the point. So you can do a lot with that. And I bring that up now because as you go on to card reading, you're not going to have pictures. No pictures, except maybe in the court cards, you can have, a picture of a king. And you can certainly read this king and ask it a question, like, how can I lose weight? And you can look at the king and, he's got a heart in his hands. It's like, I don't know what that would mean, but you could certainly do that. Now, tarot, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot is all pictures, so they have a lot of prompts, which is very good, and you can read them intuitively, which is the way I would suggest you read them. I mean, you can find out the meanings of those cards in any book, and all books on tarot pretty much have very similar meanings. But then you want to start looking at the pictures and what's going on with the pictures. Now, playing cards, we just have the pips, or the regular number cards, and so we can't, you can intuit some things from number cards, the way they laid out. But the other thing you can do is, and we're going to go back to, let's see, how did we do this? There's that, and the diamonds, and here we go. Is through the elements. I talked briefly about the elements last time. Before I go on, there is a, if you go to my first video, there is a pinned article that talks about a lot of stuff we're talking about now that you can download or read or whatever. And so our pictures are made with the elements. The elements are sort of critical to reading playing cards because elements are fire, air, water, and earth. Now you think, well, there's only 4 elements. What does that all mean? Well, you have to decide what those mean to you. This is, again, where intuition comes in. I would suggest for you to start, before we go any further, an idea, to get a journal and write down, have a page for fire, a page, this is upside down, a page for air, a page for water, and a page for earth. And on that page, write down in keywords what fire is to you. Now you think, oh, well, it's a flame. Well, yeah, it's a flame, but is it a candle flame? Is it a votive flame? Is it behind glass? Is it an explosion? Is it a fire, a forest fire? Is it a volcano? I mean, it's all those things. So you just put all those things down. So these are your elements of your picture that you're going to be using. Just like there was the elements in that picture that I showed you. These are going to be elements that you can pick from when you start to read for yourself. So think about the fire inside your body. We're thinking about fire in nature, fire in the home, a heater, a stove, something that keeps you warm, something that cooks your food, something that sanitizes things. You can think about inside your body, what is fire? It could be inspiration. It could be some kind of bodily function that you consider to be fiery, maybe a heartburn or something. So you start defining fire in your own way, intuitively, because a lot of that's going to be a metaphor for when you start taking meaning from the cards. So there's the fire, the air, the water, and the earth. Now, in my handout from previous, I think it's out there. If it's not there, I'm going to check and make sure I'll put it in there. I do have this written up. It's called It's Elements. Fire, the symbolism, fire is associated with passion, energy, action, and transformation. So that's something also to consider. And it talks about when fire elements appear in a card, it can indicate a need for enthusiasm, motivation, or a desire for change. And it may also just suggest creativity, inspiration, or strong emotions. Now, this is kind of a nice general fire symbolism and what you could do, but what you want to do is make it more personal to you. Do you like fire? Do you stay away from fire? Are you fascinated by fire? Do you love a fireplace with the burning wood and the crackling sound, or an outdoor bonfire or an outdoor campfire? These are all things that you can read into the cards when you start getting comfortable with them. The air symbolizes the intellect, communication, thought, and clarity of mind. That's the spade. Interpretation cards can, with air elements, often suggest the need for rational thinking, communication, or mental clarity. It can also indicate the importance of ideas, plans, and decision making. Okay, but what does air mean to you? This is where the intuition comes in. Here's some nice starting points, but the intuition is important. What does air mean to you? Well, we don't have air, we don't live in our particular bodies. It doesn't work. So it's life-giving. Air is a life force. And you can go down to the molecules of air, and maybe that would be somehow give you some kind of insight into your question. You never know what's going to give you insight into the question. But if you work with metaphors, it's really powerful. Air is clouds, it's wind, it's cyclones, it's turbulence, it's refreshment, it's being refreshing. And you can think of air inside your body, gas. Oh, okay, well, it's gas. All kinds of chemical reactions cause all kinds of, gas type things. But and think of air in nature. Think of air in the house. Clearing the air. Think of clearing the air. That's clearing the air with someone. Had an argument with them. You want to clear the air. Clarity. Thought. Air is it's in your head. You can't put your finger on it, although you can really. They say you can kind of map thoughts in your brain somehow. But it's about thought and communication, clarity. And so on your other page, you do the same thing with air. Talk about what the air element is to you. Now, this is only, you don't go into books and read about it. You try to figure it out on your own. Just quiet your mind and think, air, what does it mean to me, air? There's air in seltzer water. Gives it that little sparkling water. Air is, of course, everywhere, ubiquitous. But what does it mean to you? What calls your attention to the air element? And write that down. Next one is water, hearts. Water symbolizes emotions, intuitions, feelings, and the subconscious. When you interpret them with the water elements, it can be emotional depth, intuition, or a need to explore one's feelings. It may also suggest the influence of emotions or the subconscious mind on a situation. So again, water is, here's the pat thing you can go to, you can refer to. But what is water to you? Are you a swimmer? Do you love the ocean? Do you love the lake? What is it about the lake you love? What is it about the ocean that you love? How do you approach the lake or the ocean? Do you dive into the lake, or do you like staying at the edge and just putting your feet in it? These all things can feed your intuition in reading a card. So if you were to see a 2 of hearts in a reading, you'd say, okay, that's water. Two small bits of water. What could that mean? You could think, well, 2 bits of water. I have 2 children. So your mind goes, okay, What do I love? I have 2 children. Those are my children. There's 2 children, there's 2 hearts, there's 2 children. And why is this coming up in the reading? Well, maybe I asked a question of something, I don't know, and it came up as, and then you saw it as 2 children. It had nothing to do with the question, but you need to pursue that further. Why did your mind come up with your 2 children when you saw the 2 of hearts? See, this is how the intuition gets fired up. Lastly, there's the earth, which is the diamond suit. Symbolizes, associated with stability, material concerns, physical reality, and practicality. Earth elements in cards often point to practical matters, stability, or the need to focus on the physical aspects of life. It can also suggest a need for grounding and practical solutions. So there you have it. You have a little brief discussion about the elements and intuition. The elements, I think giving the elements like a 1-sentence description, definition, is kind of short shrifting, is that a word? Short shrifting what the elements do and how they are. Just as these elements are the building blocks of whatever we have around us, they're the building blocks of a card reading as well, because they're almost endless, and it's very tailored to your own interpretation of how you can use those elements, given your experiences, given what you like, what you don't like. So these elements are really, really important in reading, in card reading. I am going to, I'll leave a link to this picture if you want to download it. I think you can download it on his Find America site. And then maybe you can't download it. I'll have to find out how I can get that to you if you're interested. You can use any picture, but this was a nice one because it's very graphic. The other thing I was going to talk about, but I will next time, are the court cards. But just to get you thinking about the elements and maybe getting a journal going, that would be very helpful in your card reading journey. I was also going to show you another deck. Should I do that? Maybe I will. Maybe I will show you another deck. This is a great deck. But then I just pulled this one out. Where did I put it? This is a cool deck. It's not in order. I found this, I don't know where I saw this. I think I was looking at images in Google, and then I ended up finding this deck. Excuse me, on at eBay. It's called the Cincinnati. That's in Cincinnati. The Russell and Morgan Company playing cards. I don't think it's in print right now, but I know you can find it. I found it on eBay. Okay. These are typical cards. I mean, they're very, very much playing cards, but you see how they are. There's no numbers on them. They're just the patterns, which I thought were sort of cool. I didn't mention yesterday, but patterns are important as well, especially when you get into the higher. You notice how very much. I mean, I'm going to give a little video on the Marseille, which are pips and playing cards, and Rider-Waite-Smith. I am going to show the 3 of them together, the minors, and show you how cards have been displayed, and they're all used for divination. But you see this 10 is no, this is not. Is this a 10? Yeah, this is a 10, right? Because it's even numbers, so we know that's a 10. That would be a lady in my deck, but there's a 10. You can just see, there's this balance to it. Here you see this thing in the center. It stops you cold, so you know that there's something happening here. There's something to pay attention to. And there's another one stopping you, another stopping you. So I mean, the odd cards are very obvious, as are the even cards. Another even card. And that gives you a little starting point to read. But this is fun deck. I tried to use this, but I was not settled on what the suits, what elements the suits were. Now I'm finally getting my handle on what I want the suits and the elements to be, because that's sort of important. It's sort of critical to this whole thing. Anyway, so here's, if you're liking this, you may want to check this out. I have other decks that I'll show. Is that ace? Yeah. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you found this interesting. I am going to be putting things down in the pin some information that you can, I think, copy and use that may be helpful. You can copy and paste somewhere in your computer. So that is it for today, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.